Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Sharad Bihari Radha Sharad Bihari Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Sharad Bihari Radha Sharad Bihari Shri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Harinam Sankirtan ki.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Givanidhari Gopi Jana Ballabha Viranidari Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Divanidhari Gopi Gopi Jana Ballabha Divanidhari Ballabha Divanidhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Jivanidhari Gopi Jana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Haribo Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Tonight we're speaking from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter, text 26. Let us repeat the Sanskrit together. Repeat after me. Anye tu evam agyanata shanvayebhya upasate tepi chaititanrante eva mityum shuti parayana. Repeat after me. Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. Because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This verse is particularly applicable to modern society because in modern society, there's practically no education in spiritual matters. Some of the people may appear to be atheistic or agnostic or philosophical, but actually, there's no knowledge of philosophy. As for the common man, if he's a good soul, then there's a chance for advancement by hearing. This hearing process is very important. Lord Chaitanya, who preached Krishna consciousness in the modern world, gave great stress to hearing, because if the common man simply hears from authoritative sources, he can progress, especially according to Lord Chaitanya. If he hears the transcendental vibrations of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It is stated, therefore, that all men should take advantage of hearing from realized souls and gradually become able to understand everything. The worship of the Supreme Lord will then undoubtedly take place. Lord Chaitanya has said that in this age, no one needs to change his position, but one should give up the desire or the endeavor to understand the absolute truth by mental speculative reasoning. One should learn to become the servant of those who are in knowledge of the Supreme Lord. If one is fortunate enough to take shelter of a pure devotee, hear from him about self-realization, and follow in his footsteps, one will be gradually elevated to the position of a pure devotee. In this verse particularly, the process of hearing is strongly recommended. And this is very appropriate. Although the common man is often not as capable as so-called philosophers, faithful hearing from an authoritative person will help one transcend this material existence and go back to home, back to Godhead. Anye tvevam agnata shitavam yebhyo upasyate tepi chaitaranti eva mityum shitu paranyana. Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. Because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. Om Aginam Timirandasya Ginam Ginam Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Dena Taimai Shri Guruve Nama Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Ve'evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So this is very important. The Lord is stressing here that in this age, we have very little information about God. Usually, people who are following religion, they hardly have enough information about God. It's very meager information, Believe in God. Believe in what? Believe in being good. But basically, other than that, there's no other more information about God. So how are people practically able to approach God? They don't even know who God is. So that's not very feasible. So although not very feasible, still in Kali Yuga, people are trying to find God in that way. Trying to find God by following someone who is not an authoritative source. This is our problem in Kali Yuga. People are just claiming to be the authority. Oh, I'm the authority. I studied some books, I'm become an authority. In Kali Yuga, this is the problem. So the Lord is prescribing here that we have to find that authoritative source that's bona fide. That's in the Vedic knowledge, this is called the four sampradaya. Brahma sampradaya, Lakshmi sampradaya, like this, Rudra sampradaya. And this information is coming from the Vedas. Those who are following the Vedas strictly and adhering to this principle, they can become self-realized. Because to become self-realized, you have to know, first of all, who is God? What does God do? Where does God live? What is the program? Why am I here? All these questions have to be answered one after the other. People who don't find the answer to the question, they're just wasting time. Like if there is no question, there is no answer. There's no destination, I have nothing to do, nothing means anything. Except what I have to enjoy with the senses and the world that I see. So, that is not very intelligent, because that's not seeing properly with spiritual vision. If you have spiritual vision, you'll see that the Lord is creating the world. He's the one who's maintaining the world. He's the one who's creating the world. And it's not permanent. It's only for a short time. You know, for the most 100 years. Some people are living 120 years more. But what is the destination? The destination is not very clear. In other words, if we get education, the education is not very clear. Because the education is not revealing what is the actual situation, why am I here? The education is just how you're going to make money and how you're going to be happy here. So that type of education is not really solving the problem. For education, one has to approach the Vedic knowledge. Prabhupada said the Vedas is like our mother. If you want to know who your father is, then the one person know for sure is your mother. And so the Vedic knowledge is there. It's not something that's created by human beings. Nothing is created by human beings. So the Vedic knowledge is not created by human beings either. The Vedic knowledge is just there to guide us while we're living in this body, so that we know the purpose of our life, the direction, what is the goal. As is stated here, the goal is to get back into the spiritual world. That's where we actually belong. We're eternal parts of Krishna, and we have independence. Because of that independence, sometimes we become implicated in the material world. In this material world, the Lord is not doing any, He's only coming here very infrequently. He's not living here. He's just visiting this place to get everybody together to get back home. But He's not living here. And those who are pure devotees, they don't live here. If you become a pure devotee, you'll have to leave this place and go to the spiritual world. So that is the program, more or less, for living entities. The obstacles to attaining Krishna consciousness is very important to know what those obstacles are. First of all, the first big obstacle is our impersonal view on other living entities. In other words, we see other living entities as if they're not related to us. That is the impure vision in the material world. So to change that vision, to change that consciousness, means the consciousness has to become purified and reestablished in the original nature, which is loving transactions with all living entities. And so that to that end, one has to get trained to become actually a resident of this, a person qualified to be a resident of the spiritual world. Means good qualities. Definitely means good qualities. So we're here in the world, and as devotees, we can develop the good quality by association, if we get the proper people to associate with, then we'll awaken these qualities that we have naturally, because we're parts of God. And we have the qualities of God within us. The one main quality that God has is that God loves every entity. Every entity is God's offspring or God's child. So we also have to become like that. The practices have to be there. So living with the devotees, you can learn that very easy from somebody who knows that. You cannot learn it philosophically. You have to learn it from the person. There were so many books about Bhagavad Gita and about spiritual knowledge all over the place before Prabhupada came, but nobody became devotees because you needed Prabhupada. You need the person. So that's the way Krishna tests us. How much do you care for other persons? First, as a neophyte person, we just come to love Krishna, that's all. But after a while, the Lord informs us that that's not enough. It's not enough. You have to dig into it more, and you have to be serious. The more serious you are, the more dedicated you are, you'll get the clues to become like how you're going to be rescued. Not that we can't do it ourselves. That Krishna will test if we are proud. We're proud of our background, we may be proud of our money, we may be proud of our education, we may be proud of our looks, we may be proud of so many things. And when you come to be a devotee, you'll find that Maya's job is to check into every bad quality and try to get it removed. We come here, just like you go to the hospital. If you go to the hospital, you can't say, I'm all right. If you're all right, how come you're in the hospital? So we come into the world and we come as if people try to impress on us that we're perfect already. We go to the school, we're doing very nice, and we're doing very nice. Actually, so if we're doing so nice, how come this material is like a prison house for criminals? So what are we doing here? The question have to be asked. And then, if you're sincere to yourself, you'll come to the conclusion that I'm the one who made the mistake. There must be something in me that needs to be corrected. Then you can become a devotee. Yeah? And then after that, you have to work with other devotees, you know. And if you mix with other devotees, you'll find your faults. If you don't mix with devotees to find your faults, you won't find your faults because you don't want to find your faults. Who wants to find their faults? No one. But that's exactly what Krishna Consciousness means, is able to detect your shortcomings, what you need to do to become an actual devotee. You know, we put on the dhoti, we put on tilak, and we address everybody as Prabhu. But not everybody is a pure devotee. Prabhupada wanted us to call every other devotee Prabhu, because that is the standard for humility. There's one very important thing that we all have to become familiar with and learn and try to perfect, and that is called Vaishnava etiquette. That means how you treat a Vaishnava. And that is something that we're not aware of so much because we want to love Krishna and we're busy to love Krishna and oh Krishna, we want to go back home with Krishna. We love Krishna. But you know, you cannot go back and love Krishna without Krishna's devotee. Krishna is not going to tolerate that. If you're in those who are able to be in Vaikuntha, means they are very careful persons. They never make any offense to a devotee. Not only that, they never make an offense to anyone. So that is, first, you get this knowledge about Krishna, you know, the personality of Godhead. Very important, because actually without the personality of Godhead, without his form, who are you going to love? You don't know who to love. You're going to love the bright light, you don't even know what the bright light is. How are you going to love the bright light? Although this is the Brahmajyoti, we know what the bright light is, but just going towards that in an impersonal way creates a lot of difficulties for people. And that's why people have a hard time in finding God, because it's all impersonal. There is no God. There's just belief in something. That's different than Krishna consciousness, because as you see, even a child can become Krishna conscious. Why? Because Krishna is playing with children too. Krishna is playing with children. So all the big philosophers are talking about Krishna is playing with children. So that's amazing. The personality of Godhead, he has fun, he has pastimes, he has the girlfriend, the gopis, all of these things. So if somebody is approaching God, they have to be very careful and learn about God from the spiritual master, because you'll become bewildered if you don't have a spiritual master to hear it from. Because you're thinking, who's gonna understand Krishna and the gopis? Prabhupada said that he doesn't want to hear people talk about this. Because these are very advanced topics, Krishna and the gopis. Prabhupada didn't like to talk about it. You have to be very advanced to know these things. Usually with somebody thinking, to get to Krishna, he has to be a sannyasi. So how Krishna has all these girlfriends? So if you're not following the proper authorities, you'll think that Krishna is just like a great man or something. So you have to understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality, and this is the way he enjoys with his creation, with the gopis, with the cowherd boys, a lot of pastimes. In the spiritual world, very amazing, there's no demons in the spiritual world. So Krishna doesn't have to kill any demons in the spiritual world. If Krishna wants to do like that, he has to come to the material world. And rightfully so, to get into the spiritual world, you have to be a pure devotee. You can't get there into the spiritual world just by, I dress nice. Or the qualification to be a devotee and to be a pure devotee. We have to strive for that. It's not like a pure devotee is a big position. I want to be a pure devotee. It's not like that at all. Pure devotee is a very humble position of service to others and helping living entities to get into the spiritual world, just like Srila Prabhupada. What a great service Srila Prabhupada did. Before he left the world, he made it so all of these people in the Western world and all the different parts of the world can become devotees. What a great person. Because he wasn't just thinking of himself. Usually when you come to be a devotee, usually in the beginning you're thinking of saving your own self. It's a disaster. The material world without Krishna is simply a disaster. People who are living without Krishna is living very dangerously. Very dangerous type of life. Means that you'll have to take birth again. Very dangerous. And where you take birth again, taking birth, Prabhupada said, is very risky. Because when you take birth, sometimes in the womb, you promise Krishna, as soon as I'm going to be a devotee, I'm going to find you, I'm going to surrender. But as soon as we come out, we get mixed up sometimes with young people or people who are not conscious. You can get misled, led astray. And then, if you get led astray, it's very hard to find your way back to Krishna consciousness. And so, this is the one of the big problems. First we think it's controlling the senses is the big problem. Of course, that's one problem. But bigger than that is that we are not so much familiar with the authority of the Vedas and following the authorities. We see the world with no authority. We don't see the authority. We just see the material authorities, the president and the government and things like that. But that's not the real authority. Those are made by persons also who are subject to being punished by the laws of nature. Somebody who is subject to being punished, they can't be an authority. They're being subject to the authority. And so, to find that authority, if we approach Krishna, then the authority, we'll find that authority. If you come to the temple, then you'll find a devotee. If you inquire more, you'll find advanced devotees. And you have to find some advanced devotee. And that person can become your spiritual master. That is the way how it's done. You cannot make advancement when you say, oh, I know already, I know the philosophy. There's something that you're missing. And that if you inquire and make surrender, then the Lord will show you and help you to find that out. So the Lord is testing everyone. Not that we might impress others that we're so smart or we're so intelligent, but actually Krishna is making the determination on that. How intelligent you are, that will mean how much you're able to surrender and actually follow to become a pure devotee. A pure devotee has, all of these very wonderful qualities. I could have never imagined the qualities that a pure devotee have if I didn't see Srila Prabhupada. You have to see a person who is beyond you and become familiar with that person, and then you'll also, by the grace of that person, you'll also become elevated. That's the way it works. Anyone who doesn't know that, he tries to become elevated without that, it's not going to happen because you're going against Krishna. Krishna is the one who wants you to love his devotees. So if you love Krishna, then you'll follow what Krishna wants you to do. Because we're not so intelligent to know about it before we approach Krishna. There's a contamination in this material world. All the people treat each other badly. Yeah? They treat each other badly. They're racist toward each other. The animals, they treat terrible. All the animals are nice that they're pets. But all the animals they eat, forget them, They're not considered. And all the people that have the people who are rich people, they don't consider the poor. They forget them. So the material contamination is there that, forget about other living entities, just myself. And so that has to be purified. Actually, that's a great stumbling block in approaching Krishna. We have all these bad qualities within ourselves that we keep hidden. And so we have to bring those bad qualities to Krishna, let him cleave them out. Prabhupada said that this is the real thing about Krishna consciousness, to bring out the bad qualities that we have and to see what they are. We'll only become exposed like that if you mix with people who are realized souls. Then you'll find out about yourself. Because the thing is that a realized soul, when they become self-realized, they also find out things about everybody else. Just like Srila Prabhupada, because he was a realized soul, he could know things about everybody's situation. And therefore he could help everybody, because he knew about everybody. Prabhupada was like that. And Prabhupada was very wonderful. Just by seeing him, or by him looking at you, or by hearing him, or anything like that, would help the person to become Krishna conscious. That was Srila Prabhupada's potency as a pure devotee. He could do that. And so, this is the important thing, to try to find good association. One day you'll find that this good association has an effect on you. That's how you'll become a pure devotee. You're already doing everything to become a pure devotee. But what has to be done is the mood of love and devotion have to be put into the activities. We cannot get love if we don't know what it is. We cannot get it if we don't have an experience with somebody who has that. We can study philosophy all day and night, but it won't happen. That's why Prabhupada engaged his disciples in what? In living in the temple. What a nice idea. Don't let them just hang out. Bring them to the temple, make them live with you, and train them every day how to attain it. And that's what Srila Prabhupada did. And you have the Hare Krishna movement, the Krishna Conscious movement. Now, this is all over the world. And this will continue to spread more and more because the knowledge is perfect knowledge. Why? Because it's about God and revealing who God is to the world. Krishna himself is revealing himself to the world, but he's using his devotees to do it. Because the Lord has an intimate relationship with his devotees. He wants his devotees to be recognized. Krishna wants his devotees to be honored. Krishna wants his devotees to be seen as the most intelligent people in the world. Because actually that's the fact. If you study it, you'll see that somebody who has knowledge in the Vedic knowledge has the best understanding here in the world. The Vedic knowledge is complete. Because it's not something made by man. You know, if we were trying to put this philosophy together by ourselves, it wouldn't mean anything. But because it's coming down from Krishna and the bona fide authorities, then you'll find it has the potency to what? To make people happy. Basically, the Krishna consciousness is to take somebody from unhappiness to happiness. From not knowing to knowing, you know, from not loving to loving. From dark to light, you know. This is basically what Krishna is doing. And the person who can surrender, they'll gradually feel themselves in the light. They'll feel themselves in the love. And in the energy of Krishna, that'll make them very happy. And their lives will become perfect. Because the only reason why life is unhappy is because of sinful reactions. You know, we become implicated in doing sinful things unknowingly. Just like those of us who was born in the meat eater's home, you don't really think that meat eating is bad because that's how you grew up. But when you become a devotee, you find out, oh no, that's hellish. You know? So, similarly, if you don't have the form of God, you're thinking that God is nice, you like God, but when you come to understand the form of God, you can see that before you know the form of God, you didn't have anything. You didn't know anything about God. But people were trying to impress on you that you could know something with knowing nothing. And so that's why people never found God, because they follow authority, the so-called authorities, that are not genuine authorities. If you are not serious, if you're not genuine yourself, then why should God give you a genuine authority? You're not sincere yourself. The thing is that humans, they try to fool other humans, but nobody can fool God, so it's a big problem there. And if you don't attain to your self-realization, your enlightened state of being a pure devotee, then you know, where's your happiness? Even if we say, okay, material life, there's so many happy things, but the thing is that nobody is really excited about material life. The people who are excited about material life, they're all crashing. One minute they're excited, next minute they're in jail. One minute they're married, next minute they're divorced. You know, so that nobody is excitingly happy about material life. Don't let anybody fool you. You have the most beautiful car, right? After a while, the car is just a car. You're not going to go there and love it. Although people try, but you know, material things is going to afford us so much happiness. If we're not Krishna conscious, we're going to go in a dead end. When the body becomes old, then how are you going to enjoy the body when it's old? So, a wise person, he invests his energy in self-realization and actually realizing the happiness that belongs to the spirit soul. That's eternal happiness. And the thing about that kind of happiness, it's always increasing. Material happiness is going to start decreasing after a while. You're going to go up, then you're going to go down. That's the way material happiness is, you know. One minute you're good looking, next minute you're ugly, you know. One minute you're rich, next minute you're poor, you know. So like that, if you hold on to it, then you won't be anything, you'll get depressed. But spiritual realization is different. The happiness doesn't come right away, but it gradually comes due to your surrender. So it's a very serious type of happiness. And you can only get it in the association of other devotees, because it deals with also loving devotees. Actually, loving devotees is actually part of loving Krishna. We try to love Krishna without that, we'll fail. Because that's not what it is in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, every entity is loved by everyone. And so we get the practice, by associating. When we come to associate with devotees, that is the Lord's way of giving us association to Himself. After all, only thing makes a devotee advance or realize is their connection with Krishna. You have to have a connection. This is what the spiritual master establishes. It's not like just small talk. When you get initiated by a spiritual master, it's a serious thing. Just like somebody get married, that's a serious move. They get married. They make a commitment. So also, when you find a bona fide spiritual master, you make a commitment. Then you really can make advancement and begin to advance. Then you can learn all these things about how to associate with devotees. When we come to Krishna realization, we come to learn how to associate with other devotees, associate with living entities, and how to have love and respect for them. And this is a preparation for being in the spiritual world. Actually, if you get this information now and you make your surrender now, you don't have to go to the spiritual world. You'll already be in the spiritual world. That when you come to being a devotee, you're coming to the spiritual world. You're not just coming to a place, you're coming to the spiritual world. And you're not coming by chance. It's the Lord who's bringing you to the spiritual world. And the things that you hear on the way, those are things that preparing you to be, so you can enter into the spiritual world. You don't have to go far to be in the spiritual world. You just have to know, you have to become purified. The gross body, the contamination is from eating, as we all know. The subtle body, the contamination comes from thinking. And so the gross body becomes purified by the subtle body. Right? And the subtle body becomes purified by thinking. Manmana, like Krishna says, just think of me and become my devotee. So the subtle body, thinking, is very important, because the thinking process is what changes the gross body. The gross body becomes spiritualized by eating and thinking. The thinking process can change if we have nice association and we have an attachment to Krishna from hearing, as Prabhupada is saying here. By hearing, we like to hear stories about Krishna. All of these nice things. I know my favorite story is how he went and beat Kamsa and rescued his mother and father and all these pastimes. So that's the thing, that Krishna is always very exciting. It's very exciting. You should actually pick up the excitement of Krishna consciousness. When you come here, you should be excited. Because, why you should be excited? Because you never know when you're going to find Krishna. You never know when Krishna is going to say, okay, I'm giving you myself now. And that will be based on our ability to hear and to cooperate with Krishna and have the patience to prosecute the process and have the mercy of devotees. We cannot do it unless there's some devotees that have genuine love for us. We cannot become Krishna conscious. Some devotees have to help us. If we don't know that, we don't care about who can help us, we will help ourselves, This is not the attitude to be a devotee. Krishna not doing nothing for me, I don't care about it. No, you have to care. And you have to become, that is called Mahatma. Nothing less than Mahatma. This is the school and the training how to be established in you already have the good qualities. They simply have to be revived. They simply have to be revived. And what will revive that is association. It's so important. We can, of course, you'll find that pure devotees, we must admit, they're very rare persons. Pure devotees are very rare. It's not like you could go and get one. I'll find one. Because to make a devotee, it takes a long time. Look at Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was doing the Rath Yatra when he was a little baby boy. So Prabhupada was a pure devotee when he was a little baby boy, like this little child running. And although he was a pure devotee then, it took him the whole life to become ready with the mercy of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. Just see, Prabhupada is a great devotee already, but he needs the mercy of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. Bhaktisiddhanta is a great devotee already, but he needs the mercy of Gaura Kishore. You see? No devotee is alone. That is Krishna consciousness. Nobody is doing it alone. And when you get help, then of course, if you get help, then you'll feel gratitude. Or you'll be thankful that you were helped. And that gratitude is very important. Because the gratitude will make us like, we have to put back into the what you were given. You should give back something. Just like those of us who are Prabhupada disciples, we want to give something back that what Prabhupada had gave to us. You know, we don't want to just keep it for ourselves and, you know, we're happy. And Prabhupada would want it that way, that you put it back, do the services. Just like anytime you make a surrender to do the services for Krishna, you'll become advanced by doing that. When you become advanced means blissful and happy. If you're not blissful and happy, you can't be advanced, right? Because the whole material world is like miseries. And in Krishna consciousness, how you get beyond the miseries is that you get into the happiness of Krishna consciousness. You got to remember that Krishna consciousness affords a happiness that's very advanced, but it requires some purification. Not just the purification. If you just purify the body, you won't feel the ecstasy. But if your mind becomes engaged, you'll feel the ecstasy through your mental activities of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smart, remembering. First you have activities, then you can remember those activities. But you have to do some activities. You have to do something for Krishna. First, before you serve Krishna, the first thing is to learn how to be a Vaishnava. Then when you're practicing to be a Vaishnava, and how you can learn actually to be a Vaishnava is these qualities of a Vaishnava is very important. You know, a Vaishnava can save the whole world. And not only that, but a Vaishnava can also deliver Krishna. So, just like Srila Prabhupada, he could deliver Krishna to everyone. What a nice Vaishnava. And actually people got Krishna from Prabhupada. It wasn't like they got it some other place. And Srila Prabhupada could also empower somebody else, his disciple, his devotee, to give us Krishna too. Not only him alone, Prabhupada could do that. By empowering people to surrender because people love Srila Prabhupada. You can't surrender to Krishna because you have to surrender. You can only surrender to Krishna out of your own love for Krishna. And so that when love of Krishna is awakened in somebody, then they'll do a whole big lot of services and everything like that because of the love. And such love is covered, that's rare, but you can uncover that by, you have to meet people who are absorbed in that. When you connect with persons who are absorbed like that, then the more and more you'll find yourself finding the nectar, the happiness that's there in spiritual life. That is called in Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti is very advanced, more so than Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti is like the practice with the principles and everything together, working hard for that. At the point of Raganuga, Raganuga means like the emotions of love develop in Raganuga. So that's why it become more advanced, because the person is more ecstatic and the person is enjoying a level of spiritual appreciation that's more advanced. That's only because of the development of ecstasies We have to read books like Nectar Devotion if we want to understand those things, which are very important. If we want to advance, we have to come to the point of ecstasies. Appreciation for ecstasies, what those are, because that is the way that the spirit soul is enjoying. And how these ecstasies actually develop is very mysterious, because they only come from having attachment and love for advanced persons and the spiritual master. They only come from that. They won't just come from, I read the book, so I'm ecstatic. Or it won't come from like, we do a service, and we do the service, and we expect to be ecstatic with the service. And that doesn't happen either. So how the ecstasy actually comes about is what's very important to know. You know, it comes about by a proper association with advanced souls. Their love for us, their instructions for us is their love for us. Their guidance for us is their love for us. And when they guide us and they show us and they teach us and they train us, then we develop love for them. Because anybody that shows you how to become Krishna conscious, you have love for that person. And then by the grace of the spiritual master, and like it's stated here, the authorities, you can only advance in Krishna consciousness if you know what the authorities are. If you live with the authorities, and then you follow. Somebody who doesn't know what the authority is, they have no authority. They're living crazy, they have no authority. Means they're going to get misguided. Because in the material world, what appears to be happiness is misery. And you might see that a devotee is not going to the clubs and all these places to dance. But you'll find that a devotee's process may appear in the beginning to be very difficult. They have to surrender, they have to give up this, they have to give up that, they don't go here, they don't go there, they don't do this. So it appears to be difficult. That's misleading, because actually that is the path of happiness. That's the path of happiness. So it looks like it's not happiness. And what looks like happiness in the beginning, that turns into misery. You see, so this is the trick in the material world. And those who fall for the trick, of course, they become miserable. And those persons who are wise, they can follow in the footsteps of advanced devotees, and they can also be graced by the bona fide spiritual master. But these are the requirements to become, to make progress. We do a service, but sometimes we do the service and we are disrespectful to the devotees in the service, you know. We don't treat the devotee with enough love and respect in the service. We just do the service and then we neglect the devotee in the service. So when we do a service, we always have to remember the devotees in the service, we have to take care of them who are doing the service. And we have to appreciate the service that the devotees are doing. It's not like, because in the material world, we treat people like nothing. You know, they treat people nice who are like rock stars, or, you know, this star, that star, this movie star. They treat him like a pure devotee. And so in the material world, people are misguided. They don't know who to worship. They don't know who to admire. They don't know who to follow. So these are some of the first things. You got to find what kind of person you should actually admire, and what kind of person you should actually follow. And once you find those things out, you know those things, then you become Krishna conscious by association, easy. And that is the benefit of good association. Because good association means they're persons who are going to the spiritual world. So the persons that are going to the spiritual world, if we make friends with them, then we also go to the spiritual world. The persons remaining in the material world, right? They want our company too. Come and mix with us. We're going to enjoy. We're going to be happy. We're going to... So either you follow the guidance of advanced pure devotees, or you follow the ways of people who are just crazy, more or less. So it's our choice. And as soon as we can make that choice to advance, to become a pure devotee, then the Lord will be there to give us everything we need to become a pure devotee, and all the information we need, and all the association we need. That is proven. Just like in our case, we found Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada, although he was one person, he saved all his disciples from going the wrong way. And all of those disciples are all over the world, showing people how to do it. This is Krishna consciousness. We have to be impressed, first of all, by the Lord's devotee. When we're impressed with the Lord's devotee, then the Lord will also be impressed with that. That you're not so Krishna conscious, but you have love for my devotee. So you can also become saved by that, which Prabhupada is describing here. We're not very intelligent in Kali Yuga to know things. But by the grace of Krishna, we can get association with his pure devotees, and we can learn how to make the advancement. You know, we cannot, in the material world, what people usually doing is trying to be better than others, you know. Who is better at this, who's better at that, I'm better than this, I'm better than that. That's a contamination. When you come to the spiritual world, you stop competing with anybody, you know, and you start developing an attitude actually to serve others. Instead of competing with others, we serve others. Instead of being better than others, we love others. So therefore, that allows the person to make the progress. Because you cannot make the progress. It's like in jail, the authorities are looking. If you're trying to get out any other way, you'll get pointed out and you'll get thrown in a further cell. If in jail they find somebody breaking out, you know, then that's cause for more incarceration. So there's no way out except to become a pure devotee and to become self-realized. Or else our journey in this material world will always present one trouble after another trouble. And that's, we want to get to the place where all these miseries are finished. Even before you get to Krishna Loka, all your miseries are going to be over. Just by you being a devotee and helping. What a devotee does, he simply works on the behalf of Krishna. And Krishna supplies all the facility for the person to do that. And when you become practiced to doing things for Krishna, then gradually you become Krishna conscious. You'll see that all your activities are connected to Krishna. And Krishna will be able to work through you and do so many nice things for yourself and for other people. So in this way, the perfection can be attained, and we will save ourselves a lot of misery. You know, it's not that you all who are young, it's not that you waste everything, then scramble at the end to become Krishna conscious. You know, that's not the way to do it. The way to do it is from the very beginning. You get very lucky. First of all, you have to be very lucky. And then you have very beginning, just like my son and grandson, very beginning, you get exposure to Krishna and to everything. And then gradually you can learn like that. If you don't have an opportunity in the beginning, then you have to struggle a little harder. If you come to being a devotee in your middle age, then you have to really work harder. And you have to be more humble. And actually, you have to it'll be very difficult the older you are, because, you know, when you're young, it's easier. You don't have so much troubles to get over. If you are coming to Krishna consciousness, burnt out is very difficult. So usually Krishna informs somebody when they're young to become Krishna conscious now, because it's a whole life job. You can't just do it. Just 4 years I'll do an education in the college and no. You have to be very serious to become Krishna conscious. You have to work at it every day and associate with persons who are, you know, you come to lectures associate with persons who develop a taste for Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness you enjoy also. It's not like we give up material life and we don't enjoy spiritual life. That's a false idea. The actual fact is that spiritual life is more enjoyable than material life. So we just have to find what the ecstasy is, develop that, develop the good qualities, and that will go on automatically. Not that we have to be focused on, we must be good, we must develop good qualities. No, these things will develop automatically. And of course, when we're ecstatic and happy and blissful, then we should help other people, other devotees. And then this is leading to your life in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, you won't have to worry about, I have to get up to work in the morning. Who don't like me on the train, so when you go to the spiritual world, you don't have to worry about anything like this. Who doesn't like me, who doesn't, so being in the spiritual world is a solution to all our problems. And we can do that, we can enter into the spiritual world by practicing and by hearing, gradually being enthusiastic, not letting your mind think, oh no, I can't attain it. You can attain it. Because it's coming from bona fide authorities, pure devotees and the spiritual master. And so you should consider yourself very fortunate that you're hearing it directly from the spiritual master and the pure devotees, and that's coming through the Lord's grace on you. The Lord hasn't forgotten you. And so you should be happy about that. Take it seriously and read the books and come and associate with the devotees. Right? So I'd like to take a couple of questions. Those who have any questions is good, actually. This is the time for questions. Prabhu, you have comment? Question? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Wonderful, wonderful. I think today you just not covered anything A to Z of Krishna consciousness. Couple of questions, Prabhu. One question is, often as a practicing devotee, we have faith in Vedic scriptures. We want to follow it. But when it comes to following the authorities, we have a lot of trouble, lot of challenges, lot of hesitation. So how to reconcile that? Because if it's like that, we want to read the theory but don't want to do the practical. If it's that tendency, I'm just trying to understand that.
Yeah. We go in different stages. You cannot surrender where you're not ready to surrender to. You have to go to the stage where you can go. You shouldn't feel bad if you can't go further. Because you have to, just like when you're doing any exercise, you exercise according to your ability. And don't be depressed if you don't, you're not a big muscle man right away. But the thing is that surrender has to be there. Surrender doesn't mean like I'm doing what I want. Surrender also means like I'm learning and doing what my authority is asking me to do. So it's not be perfect right away. But gradually you make a surrender. But the ecstasies won't develop just from the practice. Sometimes we think that the ecstasy will develop from my chanting. My chanting will bring the ecstasy. But actually you can chant all day and night, the ecstasy wouldn't come. There's some other element that has to be there. It's very tricky, but without the love, nothing is going to work. And Krishna says that in the Bhagavad Gita too. You have to find the love to be able to do the Krishna consciousness. It wouldn't work without that. It's kind of an odd thing for people who are very philosophical. What is this love business, right? But if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nectar Devotion, these advanced literatures, this is what's being discussed. So we already know we're not the body. We already know we're not the senses. But the thing is, without this ecstasy, how will you become blissful and happy? Without the ecstasy, it's not going to happen. We cannot become happy just because I'm a big shot, I'm a big devotee, I'm happy. That's not happy. So the happiness have to be there. First, it's not going to happen if we don't find the ananda. It's not be automatic. What is it and how does it happen? You have to find that. Maybe it's somebody else, how it happened to them, and you can find out how it happened to you. But the thing is, it has to happen. It's your responsibility to have it happen. You have to work towards it, and then gradually, you cannot make it happen. I'll make Krishna show me himself. It's not going to be something. We have to surrender. In other words, we have to become the wonderful person. And so that's what we're faced with. Not to know all the philosophy, but to become the wonderful person that we actually are. Okay.
Thank you. I have one more question unless anyone else has.
So everybody's going to find this ecstasy, no problem?
One more question from your side. You mentioned wonderful point like when we come in contact or in sangha with other devotees, it's the opportunity to bring up our shortcomings and sacrifice. But often what happens is we start finding fault in others in the sangha. So it happens the other way around. How to control that tendency?
You have to understand that devotees also, it doesn't mean that they're pure devotees. Sometimes devotees are practicing how to be pure devotees. So if we see some fault in them, not that we blow it up and we have to be conscious. If somebody is sick in the hospital, we don't say, get up and get out of here, Prabhupada said that if you go to the hospital and tell your friend, let's go on a picnic, let's go on the party, then the friend is going to say, I can't do it, I'm sick. So, we're sick and we have to get better. We're not sick in the general way of things, but when it comes to Krishna consciousness, you can understand we feel that we're sick, and we have to get better. You're already great to an extent, but if we just say, oh, we're doing great, then our progress will be cut short. And so you see pure devotees, they're always saying, Prabhupada wrote on the Jaladuta, he was saying that he's an insignificant beggar, right? Is he an insignificant beggar? No. He's a great giver. But pure devotees, they always see themselves like this, That's humility. Just like Gauri Kishore, he said that when he leaves his body, he wanted them to take his body and drag it through in Mayapur. And they told Bhaktisiddhanta. Bhaktisiddhanta said, he didn't mean to do that. He's just saying that out of humility. So humility is what affords that person to become advanced. Because when you're humble, you don't see the faults in others. If you see the faults in others so much, you won't be able to make any progress. So what we should do is become a good example to others. If you become a good example to others, you'll help yourself and you'll help others. But if you're a bad example, you won't be able to help anyone. Okay, so the most important point is the obstacles in devotional service come from not having a proper respect for good association and being negligent in our behavior towards other Vaishnavas. If we get that together, then nothing can stop us in making advancement. Because you have to know the Vaishnava etiquette to be in the spiritual world. So that's it. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Nitai Jai Radhe. Back to Godhead. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namini Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Nama Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharini Nivesesa Sunyavadi Pastata Disatarini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharini Nivesesa Sunyavadi Paschatari Satarini Namaste Saraswati Deve Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharini Nivesesa Sunyavadi Paschatari Satarini Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Hare. Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Purikacharya Asatara Sata Shishimad. The Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayam Vishnu Paramahansa Pad Paramahansa Purikacharya Asatara Shishimad. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavin Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Shri Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasari Gaura Bhakti Vindi Ki, Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki, Samaveda Bhakti Vindi Ki, Ganga Mai Ki, Jamuna Mai Ki, Vrindavan Nami Ki, Mayapur Dharma Ki, Jagannath Puri Ki, Transcendental Bhakti Shibishan Ki, Harinam Sankirtan Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Hare Krishna.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Praladayani Hiranyakasipu Vakshaha Kilatankana Kalaye Ito Nesingo Parato Nesingo Ito Nesingo Parato Nesingo Atoya toya mitato nesungo Atoya toya mitato nesungo I hear nesungo should I hear nesungo Sing avadim saranam papati Tavakara kamara varinakam Abuta singa Jai jai ranyakasipu Tano bringam Keshavadisha Narahani Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Kala kamara varinaka abuta singa Dalita hiranyakasipu tando bringa Keshavadita narahani rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Nasingade, 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 Jaya Nasingade. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo. सिंह भगवान की, प्रहलाद महाराज की, गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि 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 बोल।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
हरे
We'll try one more time. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण
Krishna Krishna.
कृष्णा कृष्णा
Hare Hare.
हरे हरे
Hare Rama.
हरे राम
Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare.
हरे
Srila Prabhupada ki. It's supposed to be 50 degrees outside, but it feels like 85 degrees inside. That's the power of sadhu sangha, dancing and putting out heat so we don't get cold. Very well. I like that. Thank you, Bushara Prabhu, for such a wonderful class. And when we've seen that when Bushara Prabhu comes, when Bushara Prabhu comes, then we have 85-degree weather in here because he keeps us dancing, and we can skip a week of Planet Fitness and all that stuff, and all that gym and what have you. So thank you so much, Bushara Prabhu. And thank you for bringing the whole entourage, and especially Suki. Missed your drumming association, Prabhu. Harival, thank you so much. Would like to make a few announcements, but what I would like to welcome, where's Krishnapad? Where did he go? Krishnapad. So, very nice surprise. He's actually the son of my god brother, Madhusudan and Sachi Mata from Detroit. It's been years. I was told not to say it, but I am very emotionally moved when I met him just now, because the last time I saw him was 20 years ago. He is 21 now. And when he was named, we were there in Gita Nagari. He was named after my spiritual master, Krishna Das. So he had the mercy and the fortune of sitting on the lap like all the other kids of Bhakti Tirtha Swami. And I remember when he was named Krishna Das, his parents, especially his father, was so much enjoyed that his son was named after Bhakti Tirtha Swami. So he was driving through Krishnapad. Thank you for coming with your family. It was nice catching up with you. And we hope to visit your family in Detroit. Hare Krishna. Haribol. And Nityananda Prabhu from Dallas, who's driving through to go to New York. Welcome, Prabhu. He used to be a long-time resident in Dallas, and now Krishna is shifting him from wherever Texas is Midwest all across the way to East Coast, Harival, with his family. So thank you so much for stopping by. Actually, I'm glad you came a little late so you can stay for prasadam, so that's good. Because I was concerned that you would miss the feast. So thank you. Him and I actually we were in the same GBC college batch. And we are classmates. So thank you for being here. Wonderful to have you and your family. And thank you to all the devotees for having such a wonderful kirtan. Couple of announcements. Yesterday we had a very, very successful Earth Day. Very successful. It was very sweet. It was very nice. Everything was just like perfect. It was just perfect. And the book distribution team distributed a total of 54 books. And that is the beginning of the year, so we have 6 more months, right, Nitya Gopal? So that's the bliss of sharing the glories of Srila Prabhupada. So we look forward to more and more such activities in the near future. Few announcements. Saturday, April 23rd, at Spring Kirtan. Was supposed to be 8 hours, but I will have to tell you it's now from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. It has extended 1 more hour. I don't know how that happens. I just know that I have to say yes because I can't say no, which means more service. So we ask devotees, please do join us. We have more devotees coming. Now we have a group coming from West Virginia. So please do come out from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. Yes, there will be lunch prasadam and there will be dinner prasadam provided. So please do come out, soak in the holy name. It is really, really, really nice to sit and soak in the holy name. And the beauty of it is, each kirtaniya that sings the holy name has its own mood. And with the mood, it carries us into a different space, into a different realm. And it's very nice to meditate on the holy name based on their mood. It's so, so sweet. And the more we hear the kirtaniya singing the holy name, the more it cracks the hardness of our heart. Because it is hard, I know mine is, and we want it to crack. So the more we hear the holy name, the more it's going to crack, the more it's going to clean, so that we can have more appreciation of devotional service and sadhu sangha. Hare Krishna. And yes, there will be a Sunday program, so please don't, call it quits and skip out on it. So it's going to be a weekend program, Saturday and Sunday, so please do mark your calendars for that. And again, we do have a lot of devotees. We have few senior disciples and proper disciples coming out of town for that. So one of them, as we said, is Balabhadra Prabhu from ISKCON Atlanta. And he's coming just from Atlanta just for this wonderful program. So please, this is a wonderful time to really take shelter of such senior devotees of Srila Prabhupada. Wonderful, wonderful opportunity. April 30th is our downtown Harinam. It's going to be, oh my God, aging process. It is going to be a wonderful, exciting summer. This is the time to use it for Krishna service. It's, when the Lord gives us good weather, we use it in service. That's the whole idea. We have good weather, we go out, we use it for service. That way we can spread the holy name. So April 30th, Saturday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. It will be downtown Harrisburg, Walnut Street and Front Street. Like we did last day, it was beautiful, really, really nice, just by the riverfront. So please do make yourself available to support the book team and the Harinam team. These two teams have been working really nicely together, really helping each other, supporting each other, leaning on each other. That is called community building, when we lean on each other and we help each other. So please do mark your calendars for that. May 8th, Sunday, what is that? I'm glad the kids remembered. I'm glad the kids remembered. So Mother's Day is coming up on May 8th, and it's going to be a very nice day where we actually recognize the mothers, we speak about the mothers, and sometimes we forget to think that we think mothers only mean a woman who has given birth. That's not always the case. If we think that there are many nurses who are not married, but they're mothers. There are many teachers who are women who are not married, but they're mothers. So mother comes in many quote-unquote occupations. So we would like to really use that day, Mother's Day, May 8th, to really glorify the mothers and really understand who is a mother, not just a mother who just gave birth. It covers a wide range of who is a mother. So please do come out. And yes, I would like to also request all the youth of this temple to stay back after the program. We have to plan something for your mothers. So, time for service? Okay? Come see me. Don't run away. So please do come see me, both the boys and the girls too. So please do come see me. And May 14th, Nrsimha Chaturdasi ki Jai, one of my favorite festivals actually. I love the Lord Nrsimha. And we're going to make it into a 2-day program because it's a weekend. Let's use it in Krishna service. So on Saturday, there will be bhajans, there will be Pushpa Abhishek, the flowers ceremony of Lord Nrsimha. There will be a class. We are going to really use that Nrsimha Chaturdasi day as a day to really understand how the Lord protect the child and how we as a community can protect the children. It's a connection. So let's come for that. Let's hear that. And the next day is going to be Youth Day, which means, okay, parents, you got to put, which means the parents are going to be cooking the feast for the children. Now, when I say parents, I'm looking at the men. Please do not dump it on the wives. It's going to be a combined effort, okay? So it's going to be both the parents cooking at least one prep. One prep is good, that your child likes. But you don't feed only your child, you feed every children, okay? So it's going to be a very nice 2-day festival. So please do mark your calendar for that. Sometimes we forget to say thank you to our youth. Sometimes we forget to really appreciate our youth. Sometimes we forget how to protect our youth. Sometimes we forget, do we know how to protect our youth? So it's very important that we really think about this, because that's what Lord Nrsimhadev did. He protected the child. And we have to see, okay, that's a lesson in it for me. So how can we protect all those children? So it's going to be a 2-day festival. So please do mark your calendars for that. Baltimore Weekend Rath Yatra is coming up next month. It is the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. So, Baltimore Temple, Philly Temple, Potomac Temple, these are all our neighboring temples. We work very closely with them. So we encourage devotees, please to go out and visit, take part in the festival. It's always good to go to a festival and ask them, how can I serve you? Can I help in any way? Can I do some service? So please do mark your calendars for that. June 11th, New York Rath Yatra Ki, the biggest festival on the East Coast. And we have a lot of devotees that would like to go there. We are still thinking if we get more devotees that would like to go, if we are interested in renting a bus, we could do that. It all depends on the quantity. We need a committed number of devotees to say yes and to pay the fee up front so that we can all go together and come back together. That way we don't have to drive to the crazy New York Holland Tunnel or whatever that tunnel is called. I never get it straight. I'm sorry, Prabhu. Actually, when I go to New York, my husband drives, I don't drive, and I don't say a word. Because when he drives in New York, he drives like a New Yorker. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to zip my mind. I'm not going to hold my heart in my hand. So that's how he drives. So I think we can save the stress. And so if any one of you are interested to caravan, are interested to that we all go on a bus, please do come see me so that we can start thinking about getting the rates and we can all go together and come back together. I think it'll be a very, very nice sadhu sangha on the bus. So that's for June 11th. July 9th. What is July 9th? Thank you. That's what I wanted to hear. Rath Yatra Ki Jai in Harrisburg. Bashar Prabhu, formal invitation. Publicly inviting you. But Prabhu, on one condition, you got to bring a whole 100, and I need Suki. Look, part of the package deal, Joe. So we would love to have you, Prabhu, and your family to please come to our Rath Yatra on July 9th. Haribol. Wonderful. And the location? Yes, thank you. So Krishna is really interesting. I'm telling you, when we plan something, the Lord has something else. And when the Lord has something else, we just turn and say, whatever, Krishna, what do you do? So we had to change the location again. The reason being is, the cart that we got would be just the right size to pull on the walkway in Kunkel Plaza, which means if any of us pull it ½ inch off, it's going to go on the grass and cause trenches, which means they'll come after my neck, the city of Harrisburg, and I don't want that. So Krishna's arrangement, now I don't know how many of you remember when we used to have it on City Island, not the spot that we used to be in, but we used to pass by this powwow group, that whole big land, we got that land on July 9th. It's a very open space. It's a huge space. It's flat land. It's on both sides. I think it's 3 times bigger than the spot we had previously. So it's going to be on City Island, same date, thank God, July 9th That's location on City Island, and we got to get work ready because it definitely requires humble, kind, generous donations to make this festival happen. It's only any festival that we do in this temple, whether it's for this temple or in this temple or out of the temple, it can only happen by the mercy of the devotees. Unfortunately, money doesn't grow on trees. So we actually humbly request devotees, if you could please, if you could in any way contribute towards the Rath Yatra fundraising to help us make this festival a wonderful festival after 2 years of COVID. We want to make it really nice. We want to make it really beautiful, so please do come out. We do have few proper disciples, including Bashara Prabhu, confirmed for July 9th. So please help us to bring Lord Jagannath to Harrisburg. Help us to be able to finance all the whole festival. And if you have any questions about that, you can either see me or Der Krishna Prabhu about the Rath Yatra. And before we end, we would like to ask devotees, please, of course, do not leave without prasadam. We can sit down and have prasadam and see the deities. And again, we request devotees, please do come out for a kirtan next Saturday. It's so important that we sit and we just chant and soak in the holy name. Beautiful time to crack the hearts, to make it softer. Until then, have a wonderful week. Oh, and don't forget our Bhagavatam classes. It's coming up every day. We have Bhagavatam classes. We have our Bhagavad Gita circle reading program. We encourage devotees to please join it. It's so important that we hear from senior Prabhupada disciples who really, really understand Srila Prabhupada's teachings, who really, really know what it is to serve Prabhupada. Please do join us on these classes. It's so, so important. If you need the links, please do contact me. Until then, have a wonderful week. Srila Prabhupada ki, Vaishnav Thakur ki, Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Youth, do come see me. Don't run away. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. 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 Krishna Krishna Hare. That's it. Hare Ram. Hare Ram. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna